This edition of WeatherScope is sponsored by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
This is WeatherScope.
A massive storm system leaves a great deal of snow in the Midwest, but it's now putting northern New York and northern New England on alert, and it's also triggered a bit of severe weather in the southeast. Good evening. Welcome to WeatherScope. I'm Paul Emick. Some wintry weather arrived very early in parts of the Midwest around Des Moines, Iowa. About 6 inches of heavy, wet snow on the ground. Now, this wet stuff is a mess because it can snap trees. That it did. Brought down power lines. The temperature here on Monday looks a little warmer. It's going to rise into the 40s, so at least following the little chill, you'll see a big thaw underway and hopefully get rid of some of this wet mess that's been hanging around Des Moines. As we said, this massive weather system is also going to have some effect on the morning commute across the Northeast, including New York City, Boston, and Hartford. We're working on this story from the Forecast Center tonight. And here's Christina Abernathy with the complete update. Christina?
Thanks a lot, Paul. We do indeed have a lot going on out there. The threat for severe weather, as a matter of fact, we've got a new watch to tell you about. Still some snow in our forecast, and we also have a messy commute in store for folks in the Northeast. Let's take a look at the big picture right now. Here is our area of low pressure to the north and west of that. We're still getting some snow here. Eventually, some of that snow is going to make it into perhaps northern New England, maybe upstate New York. As we head into the higher elevations, the heavier amounts of snow here. We are also dealing with rain, some of it quite heavy, some severe storms, and then into the Northeast. That's where we're going to be focusing our attention later tonight and into tomorrow, as we are expecting the threat for wet weather there and some just generally messy conditions as we head into the morning hours. And we're joined now by senior meteorologist Tom Moore. And Tom, of course, we're going to focus in on the Northeast coming up, but first the Southeast. Heavy rain and severe weather here.
Right, this storm has had a little bit of all kinds of weather for just about the whole country, but into the southeast is where we're going to see heavy rain, especially in northern Florida, where there's already been heavy rain, plus severe thunderstorms. So the northern half of the state of Florida really going to get hit tonight very hard. And if we can take a look at the satellite picture, we'll see what's going on here. First of all, you can see all the moisture out here in the Gulf of Mexico, and it just continues to blossom. The Gulf is very, very warm. So we have that warm moisture rising. We have a lifting mechanism, a jet stream in the upper atmosphere at about 80 miles an hour, which is lifting the warm moisture, and a very slow-moving cold front off to the west. So you have those players in that region, and you can see the stream of moisture right into northern Florida. It looks like a long rainy night. Some of that rain could move down toward the Tampa and Orlando area for their morning commute.
Now, we also have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect. Earlier, we had a tornado watch for part of northern Florida. Now the severe thunderstorm watch. What can folks here expect?
Well, things have calmed down a little bit, but we still have a couple of lines of thunderstorms coming into Florida at the current time, and they're continuing to move on to the east, and we probably have a radar we can show there. And there it is. So you can see kind of a little bow, little kind of a turn there, an S shape, and usually when that happens, you get a lot of heavy rated thunderstorms right at the point of attack, so to speak. And here it's just west of Gainesville, Florida. This is going to move to the east, and as these lines like this move through, you can get some very gusty winds, maybe 50 miles per hour or more. So there could be some tree and power line damage here in northern Florida as well. And it looks like, say, within the next hour, maybe around the Gainesville, Florida area, around the University of Florida, could be some very heavy thunderstorms.
We also see a bit of wet weather to the north, but not as much as we saw earlier here through the Carolinas, for example, in northern Georgia.
Right, Christina, most of the heavy thunderstorms are offshore. There is a warm front here in North Carolina that's going to move to the north and bring warm, moist air, and that's going to be some cooler air when we get up into the northeast.
Already seeing some rain now in New York City, and it looks like it's approaching Boston. What can folks in New York expect for the rest of the night and then into tomorrow morning for their commute?
Well, we have a shot of moisture coming into New York and Hartford already, and it looks like a night of rain. More rain is going to come into this area, and some windy conditions. Once the warm front goes through New York, rain will come to an end early. Boston will rain all day, and then in the higher elevations, we can see 6 to 10 inches of snow in northern New England, a little less when we get down toward Concord or Bangor, kind of snow turning to rain. But again, the winter storm watches are up for this area as the cooler air comes down from the north, warm, moist air comes from the south, and we have the last chapter in this tremendous winter storm on hand into Monday.
All right, Tom, thanks a lot for your insight. We'll check back with you a little later on. But for now, we want to take a look at what's going on across the rest of the country, and for that, we head to the studio with Paul.
Thanks a lot, Christina. While northern parts of the Lone Star State have freeze advisories in effect tonight, conditions in the northwest are much different. Let's have a look at the happenings across the west. We got the mess in the Midwest, and the wild, wild west is not so wild with some good things happening there. A little bit of precipitation around Seattle and Portland, but nice conditions. But yet still rain-free for Southern Cal. There's high pressure, big stable dome of air taking care of so much of the country. It's also going to help provide some cool temperatures tonight across the Lone Star State. Still a bit of warmth returning to this flow around high pressure in a anticyclonic direction or clockwise, meaning a little warm air is moving in towards Southern Cal. So not much happening there. Things are just kind of quiet tonight. I'll prove it momentarily. Not so quiet here, though, across the northwest where we have seen the showers. At times around Portland and Tillamook, it's been just a bit rainy, not heavy drenching rains, but some showers to speak of. Around Seattle and Everett, it stays rather wet, too. You're seeing a bit of rain here, but it's hard to really pick up on it because the mountain ranges get in the way of the radar having a good look at what's happening. So the flow of moisture is moving on shore. It's still really there. How did we fare for high temps today? 53 to Seattle. San Francisco around the bay there just a couple of days ago. What a beautiful city. Golden Gate Bridge there, 73. Out around the Golden Gate Rec area. Best view of the ocean.